Here, I'm going to talk about our R34 proposal. This is a team, it's a team of three MPIs, myself, Nancy, and Patila Coriano at the University of Florida, and Dan Weston, also at the University of Florida. Nancy's going to step in for part of this, as you'll see. I myself, I'm at Yale. I moved here from the University of Florida, which is where I met these wonderful folks, and I'm really excited to be a part of this collaboration and also part of this consortium. Okay, so the kind of goal of this is to try to quantify social behavior motifs. So in behavioral quantification, behavioral motifs for individual animals have been examined quite a bit by different groups, including ours. Which really focus on identifying brief recurring patterns of behavior. And these brief recurring patterns can be put together in order to understand behavior at large, and also to understand the difference between these patterns during different conditions. So, and this has been also talked about quite a bit by, again, many groups. And the idea of kind of discovering structure through behavioral videos as well as through key points has been quite well understood and also analyzed. What we want to understand is what happens when there's more than one individual in the scene. So really try to understand social behavior itself as a set of social motifs or recurring motifs over now multiple time scales, and also over the diversity of behavioral measurements that we may have access to. So this is kind of the overarching goal of our proposal. And just to sort of motivate some of this, here I'm going to be showing two videos of mice who are performing a word competition task. And there are very different types of trials here. One where the mice are really highly competitive. So how do we see that? We see that through these repeated bouts of sniffing the port and kind of sniffing each other, and many social interactions. And a low competitive trial where the mice are really not socially interacting as much. Now, what I just said, however, is much more at a higher level. And what we would like to do is get a finer grained understanding of what the behavioral differences are in these two different types of trials, and kind of I'd quantify that to a much better extent. And with that, this is data recorded from Nancy's lab, so I'm going to pass it off to her. Nancy, hope you're there.
Yes.
Okay.
Control the slides. Yeah, I'm here. Can you go to the next one? Yeah. So how we're going to do this differently from what other people have attempted before is that we're incorporating autonomic rhythms, specifically respiration and heart rate. And what motivates us to do this is a paper that came out of Dan Weston's lab, where he shows in rats that when two rats are socially interacting, the way their respiration dynamics change actually reflects social status differences in them. So we saw this when I came to UF, and I was so excited to then use this powerful rhythmic measurement, respiration and heart rate, in addition to video, to really investigate and ask what's happening socially to the animal. Can you go to the next slide?
Yeah.
So this is what we're proposing. We're proposing to record multimodal data sets where we have video data and we have respiration and heart rate on the subject, in addition of that video data. And we're gonna tackle this question of this repertoire of behavioral social motifs, taking advantage of decades of literature that let us know that mice don't like aggressive animals, especially bullies. So this will be like a negative social interaction, but mice do like interacting with juvenile novel animals. So then here we're going to take advantage of what we know and then collect data about social valence, and also use a control experiment where we compare that to cage mate. Maybe we can keep going, it's only 1 minute. And we've just started doing our respiration recordings in the lab, so we're very excited about that. And go to the next slide. We're already seeing some crude differences in respiratory dynamics when they're interacting with novel conspecifics versus when they're alone. And now I'll bring it back to Shreya.
Thanks. So the sort of methodological advances that we're also going to be making in this proposal are really incorporating all of these signals in multiple modalities with multi-timescale separation. And we have some, some preliminary results on that already, and we're kind of carrying this forward. We're also, again, taking advantage of dynamical approaches to understand, again, this multiple timescale question and really discover social motifs and also hopefully provide these kinds of quantitative social motif generators to the entire consortium. So on top of the actual data that will be collected, we're hoping to provide modeling tools as well. So I'm really excited to work with all of you on this, and I see that there are many common goals amongst this group. So we're also excited to contribute and work with all of you. That's all I had.